Hello YouTube world, I'm Brenda, and today I would like to speak about agoraphobia. And as evidenced by my horrible lighting conditions and the very grainy picture, this is my very first YouTube video, so I apologize in advance for the horrible camera quality. Basically I wanted to make this video, the reasons are twofold actually. One, for myself, hopefully, 3, 6, 9 months down the road, a year, 2 years, whatever it may be, I can look back on this video and be able to say that I made immense progress from where I am here today to where I am in the future in regards to my agoraphobia and anxiety. But also because I have had this disorder now for about 14 months, and I have reached out virtually everywhere I can, and speaking with other people via chat forums, in person, reading books, ordering different programs, all without a lot of success. So if I could just help one other person that's in my situation, it would be a great thing. One of the things on my bucket list is to change the life of another person, and having suffered from this disorder for so long myself, I know that if somebody could come in and come up with some advice that would actually help me get out of this funk that I'm in, I would be eternally grateful. So with that said, I should probably give you a little bit of background about myself and how I got to the situation that I'm in today. Back in 2004, I was dating basically a horrible person. I hate to say that about someone, but it is what it is. He lied about virtually everything, unbeknownst to me, and the ending of our relationship happened after I found out that he had pretend terminal cancer. And at the time, I had been working for a police department. I was in school for law enforcement. I had just 8 weeks left of the police academy, and I would have been a police officer. And then all of this happened with him. Had I not met him, I think, yeah, my life would be hugely different. I probably would have turned out better than what it is today, but I don't know, maybe it would have come on anyway. But regardless, it's here. I have to deal with it, and that's what I'm trying to do today. So after all of that happened, I basically got to a point where the first symptom that I had, which nobody but my brother really seems to understand it when I talk about it. I describe it as a weird head feeling. I think that the technical clinical term is dissociation, but mine seems to vary a little bit from the way that most other people describe it. When I talk about how my head feels, I say that things kind of feel further away or closer than what they really are. Either I feel smaller or my surroundings feel bigger or smaller than what they really are. It's just this very warped, distorted feeling. And in describing it, okay, yeah, it sounds like it's just more of a nuisance than anything, right? It's literally the worst feeling I've ever had in my life. And I've had several surgeries, fair amount of pain, and I would take any amount of physical pain over what I feel when I get this feeling. I'm kind of different from your typical anxiety sufferer in that, well, first I'll tell you my clinical diagnoses. First is anxiety NOS, which means not otherwise specified, which makes me a case in myself. It's been difficult for therapists to really pinpoint what to do for me because they don't really understand my anxiety. The other one is agoraphobia, which I'm guessing if you're here, you probably have an idea about what it is, or maybe you don't. Maybe you're here for a family member or a friend just to try to get a better idea, what they're going through. But basically, the technical definition is the fear of open spaces. And to an extent, I agree with that, but not really. That doesn't really make sense. But basically, people with agoraphobia, there are various levels. Some people become housebound. Fortunately for me, I've not really allowed myself to get to that point, but I obviously do have great enough issues that I'm making this video. A lot of people they don't feel comfortable outside of their home. They may only be able to go out into public with, a safe person, someone that they feel comfortable with. Some people might, they might be able to go to the grocery store and be okay, but they can't go to, like a big stadium. And that's something that always bothered me, even when my anxiety was pretty well controlled, is flying, not the fear of crashing or anything, but being confined to a space where I can't get out of if I want to. And then football games, concerts, somewhere with a big stadium. Other people can't go to their mailbox by themselves, and it sounds ridiculous, I understand that, but until you've been there, you don't really understand it. And so hopefully if you are watching this video for someone else, this will give you a better idea of maybe what they're going through. So I have the anxiety NOS, agoraphobia, and the last classification is dysthymic disorder. And dysthymia is basically it's a mild form of depression, but where your traditional, like your major depressive disorders, are so severe, dysthymia is more mild, but it tends to last over a greater duration than what a major depressive order would. So in my case, for the majority of the time, I would say that, yeah, my world's pretty okay. I go through a couple bouts a year where, things seem dark and bleak. Kind of getting funks, especially around the holidays, wintertime, kind of your seasonal affective disorder time of year. But for the most part, it's life. It's, dealing with it, and life goes on. It's not like I'm, so depressed I can't get out of bed or things like that. So those are my 3 diagnoses. Back when I was originally diagnosed with anxiety, like I said, I had the weird head feeling. I was also having really, really bad heart palpitations. I would wake up in the middle of the night. My heart rate would be like 130, 140. I would get sick. I'd vomit. Next couple days, I just felt like I had run a marathon, and then it would happen all over again. Not sure entirely if that's related to the anxiety or not. Like I said, I used to have a really, really great metabolism, and so I think maybe my heart rate was just naturally always fast. I don't know. Since I've been on a beta blocker, I've been great with that. I don't have any trouble with the heart. But a lot of people, classic anxiety symptoms are like a tightness in the chest, the racing heart. People often feel like, oh my gosh, I'm going to die. I don't really have any of that. Logically, I know if I'm having a panic attack, it is what it is. I'm having it. It will be over. I'm not going to die. I'm not sick. Everything is fine. That's where I kind of am non-traditional in the sense of your classic anxiety sufferer. So I saw a therapist last year for a couple of months. And actually, I should back up. This all came back it would be Christmas of 2011, out of the blue. After I dated that boyfriend of mine, I got put on these anxiety drugs, and for me, I feel like it did the trick. For the next how many years, I felt great. I would have an occasional panic issue, nothing usually that would even warrant taking Xanax, which is a benzodiazepine. It's basically a drug that you take that kind of has an instant calm to it. I went through less than 2 prescriptions of those in 9 years. All of a sudden, the anxiety came back. I had gotten through the death of my father a few years prior. I literally thought that I was going to go bananas. I remember telling my family I felt like I would just fall apart, be a complete basket case. I worried honestly about becoming catatonic. I had all these thoughts in my brain of what was going to happen. None of it did. I was great through all of that. And then last Christmas, I felt great. I was at my mom's house. I ran up and down her stairs a couple of times. All of a sudden, I felt like I was going to pass out. I was hot. I was sweaty. I had the weird head feeling. I went home. I planned on showering and then going back to her house. Never made it back for Christmas. Felt that way basically for the next week or so. Went to the doctor, and I can't even remember exactly what we did the first time, but by like May of last year, so May of 2012, we had switched my drug from Lexapro to Zoloft because obviously my drug wasn't working. In all reality, I hate to say this, but I kind of question how well these drugs actually do work. I felt like before that was my saving grace. That's what got me through the last decade, basically. But now I kind of wonder if it wasn't the fact that maybe a combination of things, the drug, but then before I knew what was causing my anxiety. It was the boyfriend. It was that situation. I separated myself from that situation. I got back into a different job. I got my life back. So I think, was it the drug? Maybe. Was it the fact that I was, engaging myself in other things, pulling myself away from the situation, not thinking about it as much? That was probably more it than anything. So the drugs. I'm sorry. Tried the Zoloft for about 2 months, probably maybe a little longer. All that did for me was make me have tremors. So I got off of that drug, and then I saw a psychiatrist. Word of advice: if you are suffering, if you are on medication or considering it, skip the general doctors. Try to get in with a psychiatrist. I had tried a different drug, which is really closely related to Lexapro, called Celexa, and I was on 20 milligrams of Lexapro, so my regular doctor prescribed me 20 milligrams of Celexa. After seeing the psychiatrist, she said they're not really interchangeable like that. In order for my dosage of Celexa to be equivalent to the Lexapro, I would need to be on 60 milligrams, not 20. So, surprise why that never worked for me in the past. But anyway, so we did the Zoloft thing. That didn't work. I went back on the Lexapro, and I'm also now taking another drug for the depression. Overall, I don't know how well any of it's working. After I'd been on the Lexapro for about 10 weeks, I started to feel like, yeah, maybe it's doing something, because when I last summer was at my worst point, I couldn't calm down even in my own home. I mean, the reason that I say that I'm not your typical sufferer is that I don't have one particular thing that I'm phobic about. A lot of people are nervous about going out in public and having the embarrassment of having a panic attack. I couldn't care less about that. For me, I have more obsessive thoughts where I'm constantly thinking about how I feel. Not even so much worrying, but just I'm always aware of any little thing in my body that's happening. And I haven't felt well physically for a long time. And the more you don't feel well, the more your anxiety tends to intensify because you're worried about it. I got to the point where I ended up having to quit my job last year, about midsummer. I had been working from home a few days of the week, and I went into the office a couple days, got to the point where I couldn't even drive my car anymore. That's how bad I was. Ended up taking a leave, which turned into me quitting my job, and that was last July. Here it is, almost March, and I'm still no better, basically, than I was before. I feel like I did make progress, like I said, with the Lexapro in the last, like around October, November-ish. And then I got a flu shot, and the doctors denied that it had anything to do with the flu shot, but I got so sick after having that. I got better, then I got sick again, then I got better, and then I've had all these heaps of symptoms going on. I don't know if it's all entirely anxiety, if it's partly physical, because I have had this fever that's been happening for a long time, along with other symptoms. I feel hot all the time. I live in Minnesota. I don't go outside with a coat in the wintertime. That's, to me, not normal. I'm running this low-grade fever. Doctors can't find anything. Do I have something? I don't know, but at this point, I have to chalk it up to it's the anxiety. But the thing is, I was feeling well um, on the drug. I would get to the point where, in the fall, I was able to take a Xanax and at least go out and do errands, maybe even drive a half hour away, go to do a little bit of shopping. I'd still feel panicky, but I at least was able to get out of the house. Whereas prior to that, I'd have to take a Xanax just to drop a movie off at the Red Box. So I feel like I made progress. Then, about the beginning of January, I was feeling to the point where I was feeling great. I didn't have to take any drugs to go do what I was doing. I was happy. I was having fun. I was out socializing with friends. That lasted for 3 weeks. It all stopped again. Because of this whole fever issue, my psychiatrist said that we should taper down on the amount of Lexapro because there's not really a proven benefit to taking the additional amount from 10 milligrams to 20. Scientifically, there's no reason to believe that it makes any difference. So she thought maybe the side effects were, or maybe the fact that I have this hot feeling all the time was coming from the drug. So we tapered off to that, to the 10 milligrams. Well, the week that I started feeling bad was a week after I started tapering off of the drug. So again, it could be because we were messing with the drugs that I don't feel well in the last few weeks, but I have not gotten out of bed most days. If I do, here and there I'll go to the grocery store, I'll go do a couple errands that I have to do, I'll get up and, do my dishes, do a little cleaning, but for the most part, I'm in my bed. I'm playing Angry Birds, I am watching every single series you could imagine on Netflix, I am tired of having a monogamous relationship with my television, so here I am. So basically, a friend of mine, I know one person who actually has suffered from this condition. He recommended the Lucinda Bassett program. I ordered it a few months ago. I started it, started feeling great, chucked it to the side, and haven't opened it up again. So my plan is on Monday, everything starts on Monday, right? On Monday, I am going to open that program. I am going to do my best to do it every single day. And I'm also going to change my eating habits and my exercising. In the last few years, with losing my dad, I think I was depressed and I didn't really realize it. I put on a lot of weight between that. I had a knee surgery that took me out of commission for about a year, and for the last year being completely sedentary. So some of the way I feel, some of the way that I feel, I know is related to the fact that I have gained so much weight. My normal weight is about 130 pounds, and clearly I don't weigh 130 pounds anymore. So my goal is to exercise every day, even if I have to start out at, 5 minutes a day because I feel so overheated just, honest to God, vacuuming one room. But if you start with 5 minutes of exercise and I can do that, bump it up to 10 minutes the next day, I'm okay with that. I'm doing more than I am right now. So I'm going to try doing that. I'm going to try eating better. I was doing the Weight Watchers diet in January when I was feeling better. Actually lost about 2 pounds a week. Now, diet all went out the window because when you feel like crap, you basically stuff whatever's nearby in your face. I don't want to take the half hour to be up and making a healthy meal. I'm going to eat, whatever frozen meal I have in my freezer. So in the next, I think the program is 16 weeks. I want to really, really focus on doing that. I went from being fairly successful. I had a good job. I graduated college summa cum laude. I feel like I've pretty much done everything the way you're supposed to in life. I went to college, I graduated, I pay all my bills, I own my own home. Yet here I am, 31 years old, unemployed, and basically afraid to leave my home. It's not who I want to be. It's not who I am. I've had friends tell me in the last year that they're like, you used to be so social. What happened? Honestly, I don't know. Like I said, I saw a therapist for a good 2 months. She kicked me out of therapy. Sorry, I just bought this shirt, and I think I still have the tag in there. It's itching my back. But she kicked me out of therapy saying there's no rhyme and reason to how my anxiety surfaces. I don't have any phobias. I think very rationally, so she was convinced there's something physically wrong with me. Saw another therapist for a few months and got to the point where, and I hate to say this, and I'm not disqualifying therapists at all. I think for some people they can do wonders. For me, I do believe that I think fairly logically, and in my mind, I know what I need to do. I know that I can't be sitting in my bed 8 hours out of the day, watching TV, stuffing my face with lean cuisine, and, playing Angry Birds and staying up all night and then doing it all over again. That's not going to get me anywhere. She basically asked me what I thought I should be doing and would tell me, yeah, that's a great idea. So at this point, I kind of feel like it's all on me. I've exhausted, the medications, the mental health professionals. Nothing has so far done anything for me, really. So I feel like at this point, it's on me, and I'm just sick and tired of living the life that I've been living, which is basically not living at all. I just want my life back, and in order to do that, I think that I'm just going to have to force myself to get out of the house every day. I'm going to have to set up a structured day, not staying up till 4 o'clock in the morning and sleeping till 10, 11, 12, going out and socializing with friends, even though, I'm pretty much back to the point where I think about going to a movie and, oh my gosh, there's all this crap going on in my head. Oh my gosh, what if I feel this way? What if I feel that way? Like I said, I'm not worried about having the panic attacks in public. My thing is more, I feel like I am going to be letting down the person that I'm with. If I'm at a restaurant and I'm feeling sick, all I'm thinking about is the way that I'm feeling, and I can't enjoy, and I can't even focus on the person that I'm with, and I don't want to disappoint them. Well, hello. There's always the option of going someplace by yourself. At least you're getting out of the house. I've never gone to a movie by myself. I've never really gone to a restaurant by myself. Maybe a place like Panera or somewhere where I can bring my laptop and do other things. But if that's what I have to do to get me out of my comfort zone so that, maybe next time I can go with a friend, that's what I'm going to have to do. So I feel like I've been rambling on, and who knows if you even made it this far, but hopefully in the next few months I can report back every week, let you know what I've been doing, how it's been working, and if I have any light that I can shed on any of this, I will certainly do that. In the meantime, it would be great to kind of connect with some other people that are going through some of the same issues. Talking about it doesn't necessarily solve the problem, but it does help to have somebody to talk to know that you're not the only person in the world that's going through this. And especially if there are people out there with success stories, hey, I beat this, you can too. Before the first time I went through all this anxiety stuff, I still had the drug to help me. Right now, I kind of feel like I've exhausted my options. I'm out of hope. I can't give up. I know that I can get better. People do get better, and I cannot let myself get to the point where this takes over my life. I'm going to be out of money by the end of the summer, basically. I have to get back to work. So basically, this is my own little boot camp for getting my life back to normal. So if you want to connect with me, I will leave my contact information on the YouTube site, and I would love to hear from anybody and everybody. Hopefully talk to you next week.